Since the arrival, or after the arrival, I should say, of the first settlers, there have been other settlers in the city of Freetown. And today, we have a city that we're proud of, and we've been going through so many different transformations, and all those transformations are actually captured. There's another strong aspect of Freetown. It has a diaspora connection that goes around the world. It has a lot of Sierra Leoneans and Freetonians making communities abroad, and those communities have become strong in their own ways. They've created very strong connections back to the city, and from those connections comes very interesting things to keep the history and to strengthen and transform the city. We will go through some of the contributions from the diaspora organizations for this 230th year. So we will go on to KDU Global.
Think go better, think for better. Yes, so na me this,
na me that,
na me sit down so they beginning. Na to say better they come.
It don't tell where we dey wait.
Me granny, in granny, not able see this day.
Me granny in granny we are not sabi.
But they say na fine girl. In yai, the fire pan charcoal. In bojo, the jigger hole. They say na what I go get to with the wapam, kitchen, tayam, and shipam. They put on a big boat where sit down na water.
Like how in daddy been the sit down na the chief chair.
Wetin a sun? Wetin a moon? Na darkness no more be sabi. Sometimes na be 1 week. Or na be 1 month. Or even when yourself. You don't know. All they been they think na say thing go better.
But thing no better. Remember say where he finally see the sun, and so they line them up. The man we rep like a pawpaw, we call him Amanda, but in true name na been Binta.
Binta, oh Binta, now see this day. This day, where thing go better.
They say now we they go back, so they say better place. They over the water.
Something I better don't open road for we so. I'm thinking like about Jacob. Oh, now Jacob is Titi Sally. Sally. We born me your daddy, Samuel. Peter to Jacob.
Jacob to Sally.
Sally to Samuel. Samuel to me. This suffer pass mark. Me generation, them plantless, them pick cotton, them greenhouse, them bleach wood. But them believe say,
thing go better. Me grandpa Jacob, he been longer like coconut stick.
It's not like I dey light and not the sun. It be stronger like iron stone. But wetin dem no do am? Sally born pikin. Dem pull my hand. But Samuel come after. Real daddy. But we all believe one thing.
Say thing go better. Now that make we fight this war. Or Cooper we die, but not so we all die. Some pound we left, We up on the promise where them promise we. Then say, thing go better.
We don't work at this worker now. God save worker near we. They can work at it. From America to Canada, right here so na Nova Scotia. Now so you meet where na people come see. New Scotland
or Nova Scotia. Yaso, what we mean say na Evan. Waiting na ice. Look am back for talk self that walk. The world all the freeze. Pass we melt am before it for them. Thing go better. It not look so.
but they don't come. The day where will be the first for. Johnny Langa from Africa to America.
From America to Nova Scotia, Yaso, inside Canada.
Finally, now go with the logo. So you look.
Team most better.
Okay, what's up? This same WhatsApp when Peter takes down. Now the same WhatsApp with the same phone. Back to Africa.
Tingo better.
15 sheep. Sheep number 1. So sheep number 15. Will they not settle? We can settle that. Thomas Peters. Baby George. Austin King. Khalil Washington.
Ono libre. Collecting better. We tell those thank you. Tingo better. So let me tell them thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. We've got to a part in this. We've gone through the journey to a part where we're in Freetown, and tonight at the Maroon Church, the city is going to come together to go through a very reflective ceremony, and that will end with a procession around the city, inclusive of the area, the government wharf, where the ships, these 15 ships anchored, that you'll be able to catch through links on historicfreetown.com. The remainder of the session, we know there's a lot of people here who've been moved. They would love to say something, and Amadou Masale is going to curate this remaining session until the time for the vigil at 6 GMT. So there is an opportunity for the next 45 minutes for folks to give a 2-3 minute comment reflection in the spirit of what the mayor has called for: inclusion and connecting communities and telling the story to bring out strength and resilience and everything that's needed in transforming the city and its adjacent communities, and taking that as far as we can across Africa, because Freetown has a connection to a lot of the African countries. Amadou Masale.
Thank you, Adrian. This is what I was looking for earlier when I started our own section on the Gola Geechee and their roots and so on. But if you look at this map, what you see there is a big red line pointing from Africa, Sierra Leone precisely, to the corridor, the Gola Geechee corridor area. And there are basically two paths. One of them, the red one, speaks to how they left South Carolina and Georgia, ran away from plantations and into Florida. From Florida, you see an arrow pointing upwards. I can't show you guys because I'm not sharing, but you see the line going inland from Florida. There, no, the next one below, going way up there into Florida. Yep, up to the arrow, where the arrow points. There you go. So that's Oklahoma. And from there, they went on down. Can you follow me? On down to Nacimiento, Mexico. And they returned to Brackettville, right around the loop where you are. The last, yep, that's Brackettville, Texas. So this is the path of the Gola Geechee story, Black Seminole story, onto Florida. And then that line that points way over there below, if you go back to go down, yep, that one. It's no, where you were just now, it's saying that no, back to Florida, right there, yeah. That line is pointing to Andros, Bahamas, where some Black Seminole descendants are still there. We have not been to Black Andros, Bahamas yet, but definitely it's on in our plans. Now, the arrow, the green arrow that goes up, these are the Black loyalists going into Canada. 3,000 of them before the 1196 came all the way back down to Freetown. So these are the connections. Now, I want to challenge us a little bit here because the last time I talked at the Krio Descendants Union award ceremony, I specifically mentioned how other European countries, for example, that live in America today, have been able to use their collective to do good for their country of origin. So we talk about Irish Americans. They have a body here that advocates and lobbies for good stuff for Ireland and their people with the connections to America. We have the Italian Americans, Chinese Americans, but we don't have any African country or the continent itself where we can say we have this organization that represents Sierra Leoneans. So my challenge to us is if the Gola Geechee people, as we have shown, are true descendants of Sierra Leone, then it is about time we start thinking about a Sierra Leonean American association that will work with this US government to do good things for our country and vice versa. So it's a friendly challenge to all of us, but these are the next steps we need to take to make this thing more wholesome, more useful, and a win-win situation for all. We just heard Emery Campbell ask for a piece of Sierra Leone to be placed in on Hilton Head Island at Freedom Park, the first home for formerly enslaved people in this country. And then he's talking about resistance. Can we get a piece of rock from Sierra Leone that signifies resistance and bring it all together? Yeah, special times are ahead. I will close on that note, but we'll also entertain questions, not just with regard to what I have said, but anything in general. Is that fair?
Yes, not just comments, reflections, anything that's anybody has been moved to date. You know, I think you'll have to do a show of hand, and then we would be able to unmute you.
All right, that's fair. But don't forget that message. We need to take this thing to the next step, and that is by becoming Sierra Leonean Americans. Outside of the Gola Geechee people, there are many, many DNA Sierra Leoneans in this country who take their DNA test results and it points to Sierra Leone either on the maternal or paternal side. So we need to bring these groups together over and beyond just the Gola Geechee and make these things happen in the best interest of all of us, both sides. Well, in the meantime, also, Adrian, I must take this opportunity to congratulate you and Akindele and the rest of the team. There are many other guys in the background that you all don't see, but this has been a journey, and congratulations. Let's get this thing going.
Well, we have Judith Harper saying that this is a phenomenal spirit demonstrated. What a phenomenal spirit demonstrated in our ancestors. To Pittman, what a legacy for us, that which can never be bought. Thank you very much.
Amadou, yeah.
Okay, now it's been released. We can see them. Amadou, you have to go to gallery mode to pick up. Okay, Tina Turner and Gabriel Greaves. Are you unmuted? Unmute yourself and you can talk.
Hello, everybody. This is Tina Turner, and I would like to thank everybody for this production. It has been awesome and very, very informative for everybody. Freetonians are a very special group of people, and we love our culture. We love what we stand for and what we represent, and we would like to keep that going. So Amadou, we are going to take you up on your challenge to bring the diaspora. Our children are very, very interested, and we want to work on that, not just for our generation, but for future generations. Thank you so much for everything that you have done and are doing to promote our heritage and culture. Thank you.
Gabriel Greaves, and then after we go to Eyamide Louis Cocker.
Oh, stellar. I just wanted to share again, I've been very, very thankful, very enriched. I was just talking with several, one of my elders, Lonnie Harrington, who is Seminole and Choctaw as well. And we were talking very specifically about everything that we just saw play out this morning. Growing up, you know, aware of being multiracial, having Seminole and Gullah roots, it was very difficult to feel like you had spaces where people would actually acknowledge the mixtures, the admixtures, and I was just very thankful for this morning. And Brother Akeem Decker, so thankful for everything he and others did with the presentation as well. He and I did a presentation for the American Association of State and Local History on the stuff that you guys have gone into far more detail on. And one thing I wanted to ask, when you spoke in your when Brother Amadou, when he spoke about the Black Seminole experience coming from Florida to Mexico, I was curious, with Barbados involved as well, I was curious how much, if there are going to be further presentations that will show the history of the Bajan experience, because that's my roots as well. My elders were born and raised in Barbados. With the indigenous heritage and Freetown and Sierra Leone, I just really thought, man, they're in the field of Native American studies, there needs to be more of a focus on this. When I went to Barbados in November to celebrate our independence from England, I just found out about the Pequot War and how Pequots were enslaved by the Puritans and sent to Bermuda and to Barbados as well. And that got tied into everything you've been talking about with the Black Loyalists and the Black Seminoles. And I was just curious again, if you will bring up that history in further presentations. I hope my question makes sense, and thank you again.
Absolutely, and thanks for your contributions. I can tell you about Barbados. It was the first place that enslaved Africans from Sierra Leone were taken to in the Caribbean or in the Americas. And prior to rice plantation owners bringing slaves or enslaved Africans directly from the West Coast or the Rice Coast that spanned 6 countries, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, where Africans had been growing rice for eons. They were taking them from Barbados because Barbados, you could grow sugar there. Sugar is the single most important reason for the transatlantic slave trade. And they were bringing Africans to grow sugar on those islands. So from there, many from Barbados came to South Carolina when the colony was starting, before they started going out to Africa to bring our ancestors into the fold. But yes, we do have strong relationships with Barbados, and Barbados also has strong relationships with South Carolina. In terms of having these types of events, yes, I have asked us to create an organization in America that speaks to Sierra Leonean interests. I mean, because people came after us, and no one can tell me that those guys who came after us have contributed to this country, this great United States, like we have. We built the first successful industry, the rice industry in this country. And in my biased opinion, I think that gives us, that has given the US the trajectory that they enjoy today as one of the most wealthy countries in the world. It was off our backs. And we must claim those rights in peaceful ways, of course, that will be represented here, just like the Irish Americans, Italian Americans, and so on. But thank you. I see Auntie Parley is raising her hand. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tunji. Sorry.
My name is Eyamide Louis Coca. Louis Coca. My name is Eyamide Louis Coca. I'm from California, and I'm an African and a Creole lady. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. You had already enlightened us, but I really want you to tell us a little bit about the Africans in the islands. Okay, to enlighten us a little bit more about the Africans in all the islands, if you can.
Sure, I can speak a little bit to that with regard to different parts in the Americas where Sierra Leoneans especially were taken to. For example, Jamaica. We have strong connections with Jamaica, not just on one side, because enslaved Africans were taken to Jamaica. In 1800, as you have heard, some of these from Nova Scotia, Jamaicans that were taken to Maroons, they were taken to Nova Scotia, ended up in Sierra Leone in 1800, about 500 to 600 of them. And then some of them went back to Jamaica from Sierra Leone. And then also some came back, some of those that went to Jamaica in 1846 returned to Sierra Leone in 1864 because they felt like they couldn't fit in the Jamaican communities anymore and missed Sierra Leone. We've discovered Sierra Leone Road in Trinidad and Tobago, where Sierra Leoneans were taken to as enslaved people, and especially after the transatlantic slave trade, as indentured servants. Thousands of people left from Sierra Leone. Many of them were liberated Africans, but of course there would have been some Sierra Leoneans in the midst of all of those. Grenada, we went to a small island called Carriacou, where people from the Temini tribe, Temini ethnic group, still sang a song, even though they don't know what it means, but they have a song and a dance that they do. So Sierra Leone, I have, in my research or my explorations, I have been able to identify that we were taken to about 17 to 18 Caribbean countries, Sierra Leoneans. And my plight is to find them and try to reconnect us back, reconnect them back to our continent or vice versa, because the time has come for this. But I must also say, on regard to Africans, Nigerians, the Yoruba especially, they were taken to many of these other places in far larger numbers than we were. And I hope and wish that if there are any Nigerians in the house, that they can, do some of the same things we're doing. Same thing with the Guineans, Gambians, because if Africa must meet her, must maximize her potential, the African diaspora has a big role to play in all of that. And after all, they are our people. I hope that helps, Ma'am.
Masale, I'm not done. Mr. Masale, so how do we go about, to bring us together? All the African islands. How do we go about to get all of us together? Again, one more time.
Well, look at us here now. We are on our way. Yeah, I mean, this is a one journey symposium that we're on. And these little bit of practical things that we do when I go to Jamaica, when I go to Grenada, these are the types of things we need to do more of to bring history to life, as I like to say. And we are on our way, believe me, Ma.
Very good.
Hi.
Thank you.
Okay, I see Warren, Eugenia Chinsman, and Warren. After that, Warren Realford.
Yeah, my name is Eugenia Chinsman, and first of all, I want to congratulate you all. This is such a wonderful wealth of knowledge and experience, and what you've done today is very historic. I've been involved in the diaspora world since 2005. I've been taking and connecting people with their roots in Africa to Ghana, Togo, Benin, Senegal, and the Gambia. And I started connecting people to Sierra Leone in 2018, people with their DNA. And I just want to see that those of us who are playing in this field, that we work together to collaborate these activities to make it worthwhile for everyone. I am so happy to see Aunt Palisu here, with whom I've worked for many years, and I've taken people to the Gola Gichi Festival for the last 11 years, and I'm doing that again this year. So I am so happy that this symposium has been such a very successful event, and I look forward in collaborating my activities with others in the field in the future.
Excellent, excellent. Any other questions, comments? I think Auntie Pearlie wants to say something, but she can't raise her hand.
First of all, I'm so excited. And God is doing something awesome. And Africa is leading the way. The world is only going to have to come back to Africa to find that sense of who we are. And I'm so excited about what the work Amadou has been doing, Miss Eugenia and all Kindle and everybody that's part of this awesome spiritual revival, because this is a revival. And when you spoke about Barbados to South Carolina, in fact, the same Lord proprietors that colonized Barbados came and colonized South Carolina. And so South Carolina is known as a colony of a colony. So our roots are so tightly connected. And I think it's going to take Sierra Leone to really inspire our young people in America, because our young Blacks are so in such a place of despair and hopelessness. And when I met some of the young people we met when we went on the trip in 2019, Sheku and Jabby and Alpha and Tessie and all the other ones, you know, that we met, and their hunger for education and wanting to know who they are and what happened to us when we were kidnapped and brought here. I think they can come, you know, doing that exchange to those children and young people, I should say, not children, young men, will bring such a revival for our young people. And so I'm excited about what God is doing in this season. And not only, we have to not only talk about the history, but we got to show our people how to connect our history to economic development around the world, to lift up all of our people everywhere that we've been scattered in the diaspora. Everybody is hungry for our history, but everybody except for us are making monies and wealth off our history. We have to find a way to empower our people globally to start taking back all that wealth. We've given the world all of our technology. We've given the world all of our free labor, but now it's time for the people of the African diaspora to reap the benefits of the blessings that God has given us as a people. So God bless each and every one of you. I only pray nothing but blessings. I love you all. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aunt Pearlie Sue. I must mention that she's an honorary paramount chief. In fact, she's probably the first Gola woman that I know that has been made crown chief in Sierra Leone. So enough respect, Mahi.
Amadou, also I forgot to mention there's a big piece missing here. The Amistad Committee in New Haven, Connecticut. They have done tremendous work in Sierra Leone. I were invited here, but I thought they should have been here because their work has been invaluable to the country and to the diaspora.
Yes, man, you should connect us. We should all connect, like you said earlier. bring these pieces together and see what happens.
The next person is Warren.
Okay, I'll take advantage. I will take advantage of my time. I will first say amen to the message that Pearlie Sue just brought. We certainly need that. Next, I just want to say how immensely blessed I've been to be able to participate in this arena and this presentations this morning. I talked earlier about going over to Sierra Leone in 2019 with Amadou and the larger group, and the experience that I had, and it was wonderful. And I'll finish up my brief moments with just giving more or less a public service announcement, bringing awareness to a situation. You know, we talked a lot on this presentations this morning about promises broken, lands that were promised that never was promised. I spoke of my mother's ancestry being in the village of Senahan and Gola from Sierra Leone. Now, although she was born in America, or actually she was born in America in this community called Harris Neck, and that's what I want to bring awareness to. And if you will indulge me, Harris Neck, the African-American community that grew up in that area in 1942, their land was taken, borrowed by the government with the promise of giving it back after the war. They said that we need this land to build an airstrip for the war efforts. And so we were displaced. My ancestries and the people in the Harris Neck were displaced from that land. Of course, we never got it back. So Wilson Moran, my brother Winston Relaford, and a group, the organization, is fighting to try and reclaim that land to the people, to its rightful owners. So I'm going to give you a web address, harrisnecklandtrust.org. harrisnecklandtrust.org is the story of the land that was taken in 1942 and the efforts that this committee is actively working in to try and get the land back. So give it a read. And if you're in such a position to influence, just your knowledge and awareness of it may make a difference. And that's what I would like to leave you with, harrisnecklandtrust.org. And I will yield my time back.
Thank you. We typed that in the chat, by the way, harrisnecktrust.org. And if you watch the film, The Language Ukraine, because this is what this guy's story is based on, you could see a brief overview of the island itself and some history with regard to that.
harrisnecklandtrust.org. Thank you.
We got it. Any other questions, comments, Adrian?
We're going to have the historian Sylvia Macaulay King also join us on this question and answers. We have something from E.C. King. Next, you're next.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eustacia. This has been such an enlightening moment. I'm actually at work and should not be doing this, but I can't miss this. I have a question regarding. I know when I had jumped on, the Elliott family was giving sort of a history and tracing their ancestry back to the early settlers. Is there a way that other families can be able to trace their ancestry back to at least those early settlers? And I think that's one thing, you know, that could be amazing, because, you know, people say, oh, these are the Kings, these are the Williams, these are the Quaker. But if they're able to trace, just like the Elliott family did, I think that's an amazing and incredible thing to do. So if there's any way to do that, we would be so glad to have that information so we could do some tracing. And again, congratulations to everyone. The other thing I wanted to say is it would be an amazing thing if we could do stuff like this. I mean, not all the time, but quite often, you know, maybe once a month or once every 6 months, you know, we can do a thing like this would be great, because it's such an educative moment. Thank you.
I can respond to that very quickly. So I went to Birchtown where the Black Loyalist Historical Society is based. And they had some panels where they had names of people who stayed, Black loyalists who stayed in Canada, those who went to Sierra Leone. And when I would get to the ones that actually ended up in Sierra Leone, it states there that no further information is available on these people who went to Sierra Leone. And that has been stuck in my mind, because I know in Sierra Leone, those people, those descendants are still there. So if you can take the Elliot example and, like you said, spread it out to all of these people, we have a muster of names of people who signed that they wanted to go to Sierra Leone. Not everyone on the muster finally made it, but there are ways we can track these things down. I also went to Shelburne in the library, and I saw a lot of stuff that we should really do some more exploratory work, research, investigation along these lines. But these things are possible, very possible. And we must do it.
Okay, good. So Dr. Sylvia, can you kindly put on your video so we can spotlight you too in this session? And also, yes, to EC King's hopes that we continue this. Yes, it's going to be continued throughout the 230th year. For every major event in the next 2-3 with 2-3 months intervals at most, we will have another One Journey Symposium. The next one has been scheduled for when the Black Poor arrive. It may not be as long as this initial one, but it will be an opportunity to spotlight. We will also, there's so many events. There's the event in September 1800 that changed the character of Freetown when they had the first, the settlers established their first constitution. That's not something that's been spoken about. So yes, and the arrival of the Maroons too. So we will have that opportunity for more and more of these connecting stories to be told. But the main thing is it's about making sure the stories, the connected stories come out, and it's put forward and shared by folks in the communities here and in Freetown and elsewhere. Yes.
First of all, I want to just quickly commend, I'm sorry, I'm not really camera ready, but I really want to commend all the organizations of this phenomenal forum. It's been amazing. I declare my personal interest in that. I did a dissertation last year on sort of my Yoruba heritage, claiming Yoruba heritage from the Akus. And this is such a resource, seeing things presented from a personal family lineage and from an academic perspective as well. And all I was really going to say is that for the liberated Africans, the British Library does actually have an archive of the various books that documented different families and so on. So that's a huge resource. If I can, I'll find the link and put it in the chat. Yeah, but it obviously then takes time. And I'd also love to know how we get in touch with the organizers in between the various fora. But congrats all, it's been amazing. Thank you.
Yes, once again, to stay in contact, historicfreetown.com. You will be able to stay in contact with everything that's happening. We know that's happening in the diaspora, and we know it's happening in Freetown that pertains to the history of Freetown. That's a very easy way to stay connected. And obviously, if you stay connected to the transformation activities by the Freetown City Council, by the Mayor's Office, that's also another way, a jump up point to a lot of these related activities. We will have a strong contribution from the Caribbeans, because we do have the story about from the Bajans, the Maroons, the Trinidadians, the small islands of St. Kitts and Vincent. They all have stories with the kings here in Freetown. And I think there's also the story in a small island of Caracu, which you can tell.
Yep. And there's Dominica, not Dominican Republic, Dominica. And Dominica resembles Sierra Leone so much. For example, there are no street lights in Dominica. I mean, no traffic lights in Dominica. It's very hilly. So if you're driving up to Hill Station, Wilberforce area, it's the kind of experience you have through the entire island. And it's been good because they have been able to preserve their natural vegetation, so to speak, and no plush hotels are there. But why Dominica is important to us, I'd gone there on a Maroon conference, but I know that from the Transatlantic Slave Voyages database records, about 60 odd known voyages were made from Sierra Leone to Dominica. So it is one of those other countries that Syrians might want to explore in terms of bringing our collective together in the diaspora. And as we do these things, we are also hoping that other African countries who have such relevant stories can act on them. Because yes, we want to do Sierra Leone, but Africa is the big picture.
Yes, and you took that right out of my mouth, because the Saros in Nigeria have a very rich history with Freetown, and it's very well celebrated in terms of street names they've given and some of the things they've recognized. That's another story. There's also the story in Fernando Po that has a very strong connection to Freetown, which myself there's a family connection there. Just doing genealogy, I came to appreciate how connected I am from Nova Scotia to Jamaica, all the way to Fernando Po and into the Saro community in Nigeria. So my genealogy chart is going off the roof about now. And also there is the efforts when in the Gambia. Again, the Anthony Elliott story took us to the relatives in the Gambia. So it's quite an interesting experience when you take on this genealogy search to find the stories of your ancestors. It'll let you appreciate how much interconnected, and that's a strength for Sierra Leone that I think this effort is trying to explore going forward.
That's a good point, Adrian. There's a Sierra Leonean diaspora in Africa. And I've talked to Adeshina during about this before. He's interested in making the Liberated Africans link to Sierra Leone. And hopefully one day soon we'll start working on that. But there's a Sierra Leonean diaspora, in Africa itself. I know of some stories, but we won't get into them now, where Sierra Leoneans have been found as Kenya. Yeah.
I think we have done the most we can in this first session, where it's 9 minutes to the start of the actual physical next celebration in the Freetown 230 agenda. That's going to happen at the Maroon St. John's Church, the Maroons Church on Shekasivan Street. We have letters from different communities, both and abroad. And I think we've done a bit to reflect on the legacy and the stories of those who sat in the Sierra Leone River in 15 ships, contemplating what the morning would be like when they step ashore. And when they do through interdenominational activities and through organized activities, because a lot of them were part of military companies. They use those structures and to organize their procession to the cotton tree to establish Freetown. And so after the vigil at the Maroon Church tonight, St. John's Maroon Church on Shekasivan Street, led by the mayor of Freetown, the procession will go through with candlelights, will make its way through the city and to the government wharf and back. All this information can be found in the site of the Freetown City Council, or you could also find it from the Freetown, historicfreetown.com. There should be a live video stream about that, again, that you could find from also through social media. what is one more hand raised? Go ahead. You can unmute yourself and talk.
Yes, thank you. It's Afua Cooper. People were talking, Amadou was talking about the Sierra Leone diaspora in Africa itself. And I was thinking of, the two countries that claim Bishop Crowder. And there's a huge anniversary going on now for Bishop Ajayi Crowder. He grew up in Sierra Leone, Yoruba from Nigeria, was a liberated African, went back to Nigeria. Nigeria claims him, Sierra Leone claims him. So he's really an emblematic figure that we should kind of highlight as we go on to do this work.
Yes, and by no means the story of the liberated Africans, about close to, I believe they were 80,000 strong. They definitely shaped the western, the peninsula of that Freetown sits on. And there are stories that's an attempt to also tell that story, because that's a continuation of this in this series. Explore the different communities and the rich connections they all have kept over the years.
Is Rosamond Luke gonna be speaking now, or when is she speaking?
We've been trying to get her to come on, and we don't know if she may have missed this session with the Canadian session tomorrow. We've not been able to contact her. But if you could share anything from the work you've been doing with her.
Yeah, because tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, Nova Scotia time, Rosamond's group, the Creole Heritage Society of Nova Scotia, Canada, will be doing the flag raising. The Sierra Leone flag will be raised in front of Halifax's City Hall. That's tomorrow on the 11th. And the mayoral people will be involved in that. So just to put that out there. I know she's very busy organizing that.
And in that session between in Halifax, it's organized by Carol Millett. Maybe if you're still on, you want to speak about it, there'll be a Zoom link. Both mayors, I think the deputy mayor of Halifax and also the mayor of Freetown in that event too.
But just want to officially invite everybody to come on to Beaufort, South Carolina. This is, I call this Little Sierra Leone. Come on and see us for our Gullah Festival. We haven't done it for 2 years because of the coronavirus, but our numbers are going down. We're taking precautionary protocol to make sure we keep everybody safe. So that's Memorial Day weekend, May 27th through the 29th. And our theme this year is Back to Our Gullah Roots, which is based on the documentary that was done when we took our pilgrimage back home to Sierra Leone. And so that's being shown all over the world. And people are hearing about Sierra Leone everywhere I go. People are talking about Sierra Leone. And we're hoping to get those young people, 4 of those young people, over to South Carolina, to Beaufort, to our university. They're tourism majors. And I think it's going to help us really continue to connect the dots and bring international tourism from Sierra Leone to Nova Scotia to Barbados to Trinidad. Bring, like I said, economic empowerment for our people all over the diaspora. So if anybody can help us with all the red tape to get those young people over here, we've been working. We have sponsors that will sponsor them here. We have housing for them. It's just a matter of the red tape or what do you go through to get the visa to get them here. But we're working very hard to get them in. And hopefully we'll be able to get them here by the Gullah Festival so that we can really showcase Sierra Leone and let the people of the world know that Sierra Leone built South Carolina. God bless you.
So much, because I'm needing help. I'm a travel agent. Eugenia has introduced me to Sierra Leone, and I love their work and I love their project. So I am vending at a huge event in Philadelphia It's called Adunde. This event has gone since 1975. And what I'm asking all these scholars on this call is to please help me, because I'm having a table, so I need information. Because I want to reach out to all diasporas from Sierra Leone to bring them back home. And me and Eugenia are putting together itinerary for that to happen. So if anyone, I'm going to drop my email into the chat. So if anybody could share any information with me, that would be wonderful. I want my table to be full. I want to be attractive.
Okay, go ahead, share your email, and it will be picked up. I believe Auntie Pearl is trying to say something, or she still has her hand on by chance.
You know what? I only have my chance, but Miss Sharon,
yeah,
call me. My number's in the chat. Call me. Let's talk, and let me help you with that.
Oh, great! I'll be down there too. I hope I meet you. I'm going on a tour with Eugenia.
Okay,
I don't know.
Well, we're gonna meet. We're gonna talk.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna talk. Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So my question, because I've come on to this meeting a little bit later, but I've heard you speak about the genealogical records and the connection between some of the Creole community and other regions within Sierra Leone. But I just wanted you to touch on that again, because I know like there's that North Carolina connection through the Gullah Geechee community, but was there also the connection within the liberated African community? That was a large amount of them from different parts of Sierra Leone, because I'd always assumed that they were mainly Yoruba. Yeah, so that was my general question.
Let's see if there's a historian who can dabble in that. Any of the historians want to? If not, we will.
Well, I could say that there, you know, the Yoruba in the liberated African community formed, you know, a huge majority, but they were not the only one. There were Igbos. You had people coming as far south as Congo, up to Sierra Leone. You know, the ships were captured by the British Navy and they were taken up to Freetown. But there were numerous other liberated African ethnic groups from Benin area, Benin meaning the Republic of Benin. So no, the Yoruba, you know, I always say being Yoruba, kind of have this big presence, but there were many other groups from different places in Wolof people from Senegal, for example, from other places in West Africa and West Central Africa.
Yeah, if I may buttress that point, well, I mean, we have Angola Town, for example, in Sierra Leone. We have Congo Town. So these are people, from different countries other than Nigeria, even though Nigeria was the largest group. Sierra Leone was and still is a melting pot.
Yeah, this is Akinele. I mean, I do want to add that essentially, I think it was about 1840s or so, there was a German linguist in Freetown at the time who recorded, I think, about 100 languages, different African languages in Freetown alone. So, and I also believe that between 1807 and I think the 1820s, there was a large influx of recaptured slaves from within the Sierra Leone interior. So it's a quite broad group that make up those liberated Africans.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to ask Adrian and some of the organizers about the Muslim or the Islamic component to this celebration, and also to the Creole heritage, because we know, well, within Sierra Leone itself and the present-day Republic of Guinea, there is that huge connection, right? It used to be like one country back in the day. And so the Islamization of Sierra Leone started to happen coming from Guinea. But there were a lot of Muslims, especially from Nigeria and Senegal, who came into Freetown area, the peninsula, as part of the whole liberated African movement. So I want to know if that component is going to be is part of the celebration or part of the commemoration.
Yes, I will answer that. The mayor made, I guess you guys could hear the bells ringing at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Good. The mayor of Freetown made sure this process was very inclusive, and if you'd like to appreciate it, you could look at the parades and even the programs. Every group that's part and parcel of Freetown was included in this celebration. And I think that creates the jump off point for a lot of interconnection activities. So yes, that was not missed. So folks, the bell rang at 6 o'clock. The vigil to that for the 230th celebration effectively has started. I would love to keep you all here, but I believe that's another activity you would like to see. And so if you go on to the Freetown City Council site, or you go through the social media link that has been sent out, you will find connections to any of the streaming services that has been provided. It will be on Freetown, historicfreetown.com as soon as that link is also made available. No, people do not want to go, so I will give you all a view of Freetown as it is, and from the mayor's office.
Wow. And hey, Mayor, how you doing, Mayor?
Uncle Jones.
Wow.
Very nice.
We were just there in January.
I miss Sierra Leone. I miss it. I miss it. Wow.
Well, folks, the bell has rang.
Nice, very nice.
I could leave this on for those who just want to stay on and chat, but I've got to go join the activities and prepare for that session.
Okay, thanks again, Adrian and Akindele, for a job well done.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. Again, I'm gonna just leave it on, and so it's you can enjoy the moment and say and have a few last words. But I will step away. Thank you all for being part of this session. Thank you for everybody that took time to contribute, took time to give information, took time to prepare, and for the hosts from the Carolinas to Freetown, from Nova Scotia to the Caribbean, from California to Maryland. Thank you very much for giving of your time, and look forward to seeing you all at the next symposium on this one journey to this great location that has so much history written in all its different infrastructure and buildings. Just the lay of the land, what may look like chaotic to some people, is a lot of stories that are on those phases of the buildings and the communities around this coast. Thank you again. Thank you, everybody.
God bless.
God bless.
Thank you very much. That was wonderful. Great symposium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
In 15 ships, they sailed from Halifax on the big wide sea. They were Black loyalists, chasing freedom wherever it might be. They were Black loyalists, taking freedom wherever it might be. They were Black loyalists, bound for freedom land. Free settlement on the coast of Africa. It is therefore declared that every free black man shall have a grant of not less than 20 acres of land, 10 for his wife, 5 for every child, and that the military, civil, personal, and commercial rights and duties of all blacks and whites shall be the same and secured in the same manner. 1,100 seafarers, led by Thomas Peters, children and their parents. 1,100 seafarers, children and their parents, led by Thomas Peters, who had a plan to fulfill the free mission in an African land. Mary Perth, Catherine Abernathy, David George, Violet King, Boston King, Nathaniel Snowball, Sarah Peters, Harry Washington, and the one named Isaac Anderson. They left on a flotilla of ships led by Joy, the Felicity, the Mary, the Beaver, the Lucretia, the Betsy, the Catherine, and the Parr, the Eleanor, the Somerset, and the Morning Star, followed by the Prince William Henry, the Venus, the two brothers, the Prince Henry, and the one named the Sierra Leone. This was a spectacle to make the heart leap. Behind them, the little towns and villages in which the emigrants had struggled for a free life in Canada were mere shells. Preston was emptied out, Brindley Town a lingering vestige, and Birchtown was just a shadow of its former self, with only a fifth of its population left in the care of Stephen Bluck. In 15 ships, they sailed from Halifax on the big wide sea. They were black loyalists, chasing freedom wherever it might be. We sailed down Halifax Harbor, past the lighthouse at Sambra. Goodbye, Nova Scotia. Farewell to you, Canada. Goodbye to slavery and oppression, second-class citizenship, rocky land and swampy soil. No more Birchtown riot. Yes, we will miss our friends and family that we're leaving behind, but we have to go because Freedom Land is calling. And we sailed to Freetown, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, it means Lion Mountain, which guards the ocean on the western coast of Africa. In Freetown, they met the Mende, the Timni, the Kissi, the Fulani, and the Mandinka. And in Freetown, they made their home. They were black loyalists, chasing freedom wherever it might be. They were black loyalists, taking freedom wherever it might be. They were black loyalists, chasing freedom wherever it might be. They were black loyalists, taking freedom wherever it might be. They were black loyalists, chasing freedom wherever it might be. They were black loyalists, taking freedom wherever it might be. Wherever it might be, wherever it might be, wherever it might be.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
My apology to those who had left before it was played. but half of you were able to see it. So, but we know this can be found on the historicfreetown.com. So that information will be shared to everybody who attended.